If you can't get the person that does it, learn it and do it yourself. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you're stretching somebody thin outside of their lane, they're making mistakes. You know,
Right. That's true.
so we do provide some level of promo just because we are a company that is consistently promoting anyway.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but that is not should not and is not enough promo for, say, a record release. A
No.
record release, you want to call T&M, you want to do project management, you want to say, I'm about to release my record. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the right service that you're not wasting money at, within your budget. So you're not wasting money. And we're going to make sure they know what they're doing. And we're going to hold them
Right.
accountable for doing it, because our job
Right.
is to manage your business end. Right.
Mm.
So if we don't see the stats, if we don't like what they're doing, we're going to find you another professional team to do that. And we're going to keep moving like that.
Right.
Promo ought to be aggressive. And so you need
Mm.
a decent budget if you're going to go outside of yourself for that. The most aggressive promoter of your music is the team you can put together that's in and around you right now, the people
Right.
who believe in you and yourself. That's really the most aggressive team you're going to have. But then when
Yeah,
you
because
start
ain't
talking
nobody gonna
about,
do it like you.
that's right. But when you start talking about investing in advertisement and marketing, you want to hire somebody professional. You don't want to cut any corners,
Yeah, because
because these people,
they do what
they
it's
know what they are
targeting.
doing.
They do real
Yes.
good at. They're really good at targeting your audience
Right.
and generating them to attract more to what you are doing, so that they have, you know what I mean, come into a they basically they fix it up the way you need it. Like,
Yes.
let's just be
Yes. They
real
look at your
here. So
demographics, who your
right,
audience is, and how, what do you want to reach? What do you want your audience to be? And they have studied and perfected this art of advertising and marketing. Yeah.
wow, yeah. So okay, now we done stepped all over some. We done went everywhere right about now. But I'm gonna go and say, all right, because this is a good question to have. Because I and do you remember, you know what I mean, what it felt like for you to have accomplished that?
What would it felt like for me to accomplish
You know, writing your first,
TNM?
no, doing your first official Miss Lady Rain track,
Oh,
no
the music.
restrictions, in the music, you know what I mean?
Uh, I've been doing music since I was a little girl. I think though, but my most exciting music was my last project. Um, because it was exciting because it has the history of what I've been through in my adult life kind of entangled in it. And because I've perfected my craft a lot more than enjoyed my last project the most.
Okay.
It felt great. It felt great to complete it, to do it on purpose, to do it for myself, not to be on
Right.
anybody else's,
How schedule.
timeline and schedule, and get
Yeah.
so much done in so little bit of time. It was really fun.
Yeah. I bet. I bet. Now, just for the show's record, can you tell everybody what your project that you just the one that you're referring to, which was your last release, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, the last release was The Madness. It was called The Madness, and it was released for free on SoundCloud. And then little by little, as we started getting certain deals for certain tracks, they started, some of those tracks are now on sale and you can't get them. But when it first came out, it was all free and it was on SoundCloud. And I used my music to filter traffic to my business. That's what we did with it. Um,
There you go.
and that's
Okay.
what music does, is it sells product. So we had our own product. So we used our own music to filter traffic to our own product. And it was a
Yeah.
great outcome. Um,
And
Sorry, I'm moving
now,
around here. I'm trying to get.
Oh no, trying to
Connected
find that.
a little bit better.
Try,
I'm
that's
sorry.
good. That's all.
I'm
No,
gonna
you're
move around
fine.
this
You're
house and
fine.
try to get connected.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I mean,
So yeah,
uh,
that was my favorite because that was mine. You know, a lot of times
yeah,
what artists don't know is when you're making this music, you say, and I'm making this music for myself so that I can sell these tracks. Well, we don't make a lot
right.
of money in music at the beginning of our career by just making the music and selling the tracks. You
No,
really have to open and come out of the box and say, okay, I'm going to make some music for me, and I'm going to make some of these songs for my fans, and I'm going to make some of these songs for industry, you know, and I'm going to
mm,
make a couple of these songs for community. You have to be thinking about that project. It has to be planned,
yeah,
and it has to be
right.
planned
It
before
has
you
to
even
be
start
something on
writing
the
it.
front. Yeah,
Right. And you want it to have a goal. You want to have a goal
yeah,
at the beginning of the project. You sit down to write some songs. Yes, some of those songs need to be yours because of your creative, you know, spirit. But for your
right,
money, some of those songs need to have specific goal, and they need to
mm,
have a specific reason why you're writing them and a specific outcome that
right,
you want, you know.
right, right. They all have to. It all has to lead somewhere. You
It
know,
needs to lead to something. Yeah.
right? It needs
Yeah.
to lead to something. So
Yeah.
whether it's just you saying that you were small when you were first born and now you're 7 foot tall because
Right.
because you made it. But at the end of the day, it has to tell that story through each of these projects that you produce in a whole project.
Right.
So I respect that logic of it, and that's just what I mean. This is for hip hop artists alike, and I respect that because of the reason why this is how artists like the Locks did it. This is how artists like Jadakiss, or not saying Jadakiss did again, but he's part of the Locks. But we had artists like Puffy and the Bad Boys. They did it. We got
Right.
Miss Master Keys. They did it. All of these different artists did it in their own dynamic, but each of these projects that they released, these releases that they brought to the world to hear, all had a structural base foundation around the project itself. So the entire
Yes.
project may have been cored in to something that had vast, avenues you could have taken,
Right.
but it was centralized around one particular subject.